Hi YouTube, welcome to Pagan Perspective. This is Friday and I am your host Megan. Hi YouTube, welcome to Pagan Perspective. This is Megan, aka Spiracy. Today is Friday and today we are talking about music and sort of what kind of music do we like to listen to. We did do a video, maybe a year or so ago, a while ago, all about music in our practice. And so I will link my video of that down below. But this video is a little bit more about, everyday listening type music that is pagan. It's very typical for people in Christian communities to listen to primarily Christian music. It's something that is even on the radio. There's radio stations that are solely devoted to Christian music. So where are all the pagan stuff? So here's where to tell you. So some of my favorite pagan music, as many of you probably know, my number one pagan musician of all time is actually related to me. So I have a little bit of a bias there, but she is amazing and I would like her anyway, even if I wasn't related to her. My cousin is Kellyanna. Kellyanna does beautiful, beautiful music, pagan music, chant music, just exciting, get your blood pumping, just fabulous music. Her range at this point, she has so many albums, it's awesome. And she's an author now. She just put out a book and it's sort of based on her song Warrior Queen. And I did a little interview with her, and so you can check that out on my channel about it. But she is putting out a whole album that is for the book. So if you like Warrior Queen, you're going to get a whole album of stuff like it, which awesome, right? It's one of my absolute favorite songs. So probably my very favorite song of hers. So yeah, so I would have to say Kellyanna is my number one. After that, the different artists that I like to listen to are Heather Jinmaku, also Dar Williams. If you haven't heard Dar Williams' The Christians and the Pagans song, definitely take a listen. It is hilarious. Dar Williams, she does some very serious things too. She's almost like a pagan Sarah McLachlan, but I just love her funny stuff. She's got a few songs that have a lot of comedy in them, and Christians the Pagans, though it is a beautiful song that is meant to be about coming together, there's also a couple of she talks about burning pumpkin pies and things like that. So it's really, really sweet. And so yeah, so Heather Jinmaku, Dar Williams, who are some of my other favorite? I also like Alchemy 4. I think that's what they're called, Alchemy 4. They do a couple songs, Moon Tune, Shapeshifter, Aradia, stuff like that. So they do a couple of really good songs. I'm a huge fan of Blackmore's Night. They are, I have so many of their albums. Probably my favorite song of theirs has to be Locked Within a Crystal Ball. If you haven't heard that song, listen to it. Go YouTube it. Locked Within a Crystal Ball is absolutely amazing. So probably my next favorite song of theirs would have to be The Village Lantern. So just a couple little songs to get you going. Let me think. So Blackmore's Night would definitely be one of the different people I listen to. There are also a couple of lesser known artists that I think you can still find them on iTunes, or you could go and just Google their name and get their stuff off their website, or you can also find them at an event. And that would be Jenna Green and Featherscale. They're in this band, they're amazing. So that's awesome too. I would definitely say that for me, I really like listening to music that is uplifting, that makes me feel excited. There's a song called Bottom of the River by Delta Ray I absolutely love. So when the person wrote Down to the River to Pray, that was really, I'm like, oh, I know that one, but my favorite is Bottom of the River. So there's a lot of river in Delta. So I love that song. I love anything that gets me uplifted and gets me going. I love a really good drum beat. If you've never heard by the Rogue Traders, Voodoo Child, that's a great one. So I really like a lot of older rock and roll. I like good old-fashioned 80s power ballads. Those are some of the things that get me going. For me, I also love listening to some of the more new agey stuff. So I'm a really big fan of Fawn. If you haven't heard of Fawn, look it up. It's amazing. So Fawn is amazing. Yeah, if you don't know a Fawn, just Google. So with a U though, not a W. And I also really love Diva Permal. Wonderful, wonderful. So one that I absolutely love for those of you that are looking for something to listen to during the holiday season and you don't want to have to sing it yourself is actually Karina Sky. So she took the rewrites for the Yule carols. So I'm sure people have seen, and if you haven't seen, you can Google Pagan Yule carols. And what somebody did, and there's actually a couple versions of it, and I think it's been multiple people, but it's been sort of kind of brought together, I guess, in one website. And you can Google it, and it's just rewritten lyrics to all the most popular Christmas carols, but for pagans and for solstice and for Yule. And it's awesome. And so I sing those. In fact, I know the lyrics to those better than I know the lyrics to the original. Now, everyone knows, for the most part, some of the lyrics to the originals. And the reason why we do that is not because we went out of our way to learn them, but even if you weren't brought up celebrating Christmas, you know those Christmas carols because they are pumped into every mall, every store, on the radio. They are just like flooding you. And if people know anything about, music and lyrics, I'm sure some of you have gotten some songs stuck in your head before. You listen to something enough and your brain will just start to remember it. Music is one of the ways in which we retain memory. It's actually a really strong way. Some people will actually use music to help remember things for tests and things like that. It's why with little kids we have the alphabet song so that they can help remember their ABCs. So all those lyrics are going to get in your head no matter what. But if you start replacing them with pagan lyrics, when those songs come on the radio, you sing the pagan lyrics back to it on the radio, and that will create a new memory for the pagan lyrics in your head. So especially if you have young little ones, you sing that to it, and they'll learn those lyrics instead. And even better, Karina Sky, she actually said, well, hey, I'm a singer. I'm going to record a solstice album, and I'm going to do all these songs. And she did, and it's awesome. She does it a little bit different. She has to throw her little take on it, just like all artists when they do a holiday album. They all, they change up the songs a little bit. But I like it. She's really awesome. I think she's from somewhere in South America because she has a very strong accent. And so it kind of gives her that, I kind of feel like she's the pagan Shakira. So she has that great voice to her. So the other artist that I wanted to mention that I really love her songs as well as Elaine Silver and Wendy Rule. Both of those are amazing artists, awesome, so good. And then basically I have to come back to I would say, all-time favorite pagan artist that isn't pagan, I guess. I mean, she is, in some ways, she's pagan, but in other ways, she kind of bridges all the gaps. She's very Celtic, and so she has that sort of world. Some of her songs lean pagan, some of her songs lean Christian, some of them are completely in the middle. And I actually had the absolute pleasure of seeing her live last year, and it was absolutely breathtaking. And who I am talking about is the one, the only Lorena McKennitt. If you have not discovered Lorena McKennitt as of yet, go look her up. I would highly suggest, if you're looking for the best of her albums, or I would say the most pagan-esque and pagan-friendly kind of thing, I would say the two albums that I would recommend the most highly are Mask and Mirror and The Visit. Hands down, my two favorite albums of hers. Now, I also own every other album she's ever made. So that, you know, when I say those are my favorites, I do love everything that she has. But if you were going to start with something, I would start with Mask in the Mirror and The Visit. So yeah, so I think I've covered probably a ton of different artists, and then I'm probably going to make this and then kick myself and go, oh my gosh, how did I forget so-and-so, or how did I forget this person or that person? So I, you know, reserve the right to the fact that, you know, I might be forgetting somebody here, and I'm very, very sorry. I absolutely adore all the people that have come into my life, all the singers and artists, and music to me is something I just have on all the time. I just absolutely adore it being around, and I use it in ritual quite often. I absolutely love it. Oh, one that I do love that for me, I get a lot of pagan feel from it is Florence and the Machine. I can't talk today. Florence and the Machine. So if you're interested in a little bit more, I wouldn't even call her mainstream so much. I mean, she is kind of mainstream. She's, you know, much more mainstream than some of these solely pagan artists, but she's also not like Taylor Swift or anything. So, but Florence and the Machine is amazing. So, yeah, Heartlines, amazing song. I'm sorry, all of her songs are amazing. All of them. So, yeah, I like music. All right, guys, so that is it. I think next week is Subs Week, and I will see you in October. And by the way, hey, first full day of fall. And Hawaii, you don't really notice that. So it was, you know, in the high 80s today. But I think it'll probably cool down maybe a slightly, like maybe like 5 degrees in the wintertime. That'll be how I know. However, my wife decided that she was going to plug in, since it's the first official full day of fall, she's going to plug in the pumpkin scented air freshener thingy. So yeah. So we're bringing in the new season here. So that is about it, guys. And yeah, so definitely keep those questions coming. Some people did say, oh, can you do something about herbs? I can absolutely do something about herbs. What do you want me to do about herbs? So it's such a broad topic. There's no way that I could just be like, okay, talk about herbs. I can't do it. So the best way to do it is to talk about individual things. Like if there is a specific ailment that you want me to talk about how to treat, or a specific preparation. So do you want to talk about tinctures? Do you want to talk about teas? Do you want to talk about salves? Do you want to talk about, you know, herbal supplements? You know, any of those sort of things, that kind of thing I can discuss. Or do you want me to talk about a single herb and say this is all the stuff that you could do with it, or something like that? So those kind of things would be awesome. So, and that would be really helpful. All right. So until next time, guys, have a very fun Subs Week, a very fun rest of your week, and blessed be, and aloha.